Matt, Nate, are you guys mics hot?
We're here, Dennis. Can you hear us okay?
Oh yeah, hot and ready.
Lovely. All right, take it away, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dennis. And I got to say, I hate following Jamie in because he has so much cool information to talk about. So awesome job, Jamie. And that was really cool stuff. Yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out here till the end. Nathan and I are really excited to talk to you guys about SupportAssist for Business PCs. I'm going to cover kind of some of the high level features, and then I'm going to let Nathan go a little bit deeper into some of the specific capabilities that we wanted to focus on here today. So with that, Alston, could you go to the next slide for me? Awesome. So if this is your first time meeting SupportAssist, we've talked a lot about things like Secure Gateway, AI Ops, the Client Command Suite. This is really the answer for connectivity and bringing some AI and machine learning capabilities in regards to managing your PC fleet, right? Everything here is all designed to help you as the IT team provide the best possible PC experience for your end users. So a couple of the flagship features that we'd like to cover today, really first and foremost, is this brings some great analysis of the PC health, the application experience, and the security scores to your fingertips, right? It really does a great job, similar to some of our other tools, of answering very quickly, where are things performing well? Where might I have some problems? And most importantly, what are some of the next steps I can take to fix those problems and provide that fantastic PC experience for my user, right? So a lot of analysis around the PC health and how they're performing. We do bring to the table the ability to automate tasks and remediate issues right out of the box. These are PowerShell scripts that are available inside TechDirect and SupportAssist. There's a few different flavors of them. So some of them we consider self-healing remediations. That would be essentially letting the PC and the SupportAssist software heal itself. Some examples would be like a blue screen of death crash or thermal problems, right? There are ways that SupportAssist can kind of root cause and identify what's going wrong and then implement a change to fix those behaviors. There are also some compliance scripts and some optimization scripts that are available as well. I think last time I checked, we've got a little over 100 that are available today. And again, no PowerShell design, nothing you guys have to do other than decide which ones are going to work well in the environment and enable those across the fleet. So really cool, powerful stuff there. Probably the original flagship feature, right, was the ability for SupportAssist to proactively and predictively detect parts failures. So things like hard drives, SSDs, memory modules. What this software and technology can do is it will actually predict that that part is going to fail ahead of the failure. It's going to alert you that failure has been detected. And at that point, you're eligible to go ahead and replace the part. So the beauty there is letting SupportAssist kind of identify the parts failure and notify you. There's no more troubleshooting you need to take. There's no hoops and hurdles. There's no additional logs or things you need to do. Right. Again, we're allowing the tool to speak for itself based on some telemetry and diagnostic information. And at the end of the day, most of the time we predict those part failures before the user sees any kind of failure, which allows you to have a smoother repair experience for that user. Now, probably the number one thing that customers turn to look at SupportAssist for is some of the great capability it has around installing updates. This is really going to be specific to Dell hardware updates and Dell application updates. So things like your BIOS, your drivers, your firmware. I like to be clear, this does not deliver Windows updates or third-party application updates, but as far as Dell published hardware updates, this is a fantastic place to get that with a few options all the way through to full automation of these updates. The last thing I wanted to hit on here before we move forward is that not only does it show a lot of great information and insights to you, optionally, you can share that with the Dell technical support team as well. Really, this helps expedite the support that we provide, allows us to see things like health information of the specific device, what version of specific updates have been installed. And at the end of the day, it speeds up and expedites our support teams getting to a resolution for you. Awesome. Also, could you go to the next page for me there, sir? Very cool. So smarter support even without IT, right? You guys have probably seen a couple versions of Support Assist out there over the years. I like to show this slide really to highlight that there are two different Support Assist experiences that exist today. So the first one there, the local managed, this is technically an application called Support Assist for home PCs. This oftentimes does come pre-installed from the Dell factory, or if you just go to the Dell website and download Support Assist, most oftentimes you're getting this Support Assist for home. Very similar features and capabilities. The biggest thing here is that it is a one-to-one local application for management of a system. It does not connect back to TechDirect. It does not offer fleet-wide visibility, which is kind of what we're focused on here today with this version. So the second version, Support Assist for business PCs and TechDirect, is what you would kind of be looking for if you're looking for more of that centralized management. You download it through TechDirect. You can publish the application through the Intune management portal that Jamian was showing us a few minutes ago. So we have a couple of different options on how we can get this deployed. I'm sure we could find a fit that would make it easy for you guys. But I like to call this out just in case you've seen some kind of Support Assist out there in the wild. There are two key versions here to understand. Thank you, Austin. Could you hit the next slide for me there? All righty. Well, I covered a lot of the capabilities on the main page, but I really like this breaks it out just a little bit deeper, right? It kind of highlights how we're trying to provide a modern PC management experience for you. First and foremost, those self-healing automations, the ability to optimize your PC, resolve specific problems. Really, the key here is without human intervention, right? So these scripts kick off when the incident occurs or according to your schedule, if it's some kind of optimization or compliance script. But really, the idea is to be hands-off and let the technology kind of do some of this homework for you. We've had a lot of customers see great success with the self-healing automations. Kind of tying into that, the unified online experience, we want to give you a single place to look at all this information that we're collecting. Again, that is going to be TechDirect. Within TechDirect, that's where you're going to start to see some of the great stuff like the snapshots of your PC health, give you the ability to monitor, detect, kind of track events across your Dell fleet. Really, again, how can we identify issues early? How can we predict parts failures? How can we make sure that our PC users are having a great experience and staying, productive for us? Finally, touched on a few things like the updates, the Dell BIOS driver and firmware. Really powerful tool as far as understanding what's out there, what is available for my PCs, what updates do we need to focus on, and then give you a couple of ways to deploy those across the PCs. And then ultimately, right, bring in the proactive nature. A lot of times we're shifting customers away from reacting to issues and giving them a tool set that allows them to become more proactive and predictive. So that's really the end goal here with Support Assist. Awesome. Austin, can you go to the next one for me? And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Nathan. So Nathan, I'll let you introduce yourself to the team and take us through a couple of these features and capabilities, sir.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where in the world you're watching this. My name's Nathan Sims. I used to be an L4 in client support services, which meant I dealt with very complex problems that were causing very big problems for some of our customers. Why do I say that? Next slide, please. The reason is because what we are doing now with Support Assist is going to prevent a ton of those escalations, which makes all of our end users happier, makes the people that we have to report value adds to happier because they're spending less money and time fixing problems that could have been proactively prevented. How are we doing it? We're using Support Assist AI. And what we do is we collect telemetry from all the computers that have Support Assist. And that telemetry gives us a data point that says, I'm seeing this error. I go back and see this error has happened 65,000 other times, and 63,000 we had to replace memory DIMM 1 on this system. We are going to send you an email from Support Assist that says, hey, this service tag is going to have a proactive a failure in the future with this part number. Would you like to set up a dispatch? What we've done is we've prevented the user from ever having any downtime. We've saved a ton of time and money because calling into support costs you time and money as well as everyone else involved. And we fixed the problem before a user ever saw it happening. Next slide, please. How are we doing remediation? Go ahead and go to the next slide. Thanks. Self-healing automation, which Matt talked about, is here. We are using artificial intelligence through SupportAssist to actually optimize PC performance and solve problems without a human ever even knowing it happened. It's collecting telemetry and data all the time about errors, stop codes. If anyone has ever looked through the Windows error reporting tool, you'll see 500,000 things in a 2-week log. This thing can scan that instantly and tell you, hey, there's going to be an issue here with this program, with this setting, and if we change it now, we will remediate that error from ever happening. What it does is allows us to remediate errors before they ever happen so that a user does not have any downtime, doesn't have blue screens, doesn't have these weird latency issues that come up when programs have been updated and some sort of back-end configuration changes that the end user wouldn't have known about anyway. Our IT teams all the time have had to go in and correct these problems because we didn't know that they were happening. Now we do know they're happening. We have a database that shows it. Next slide, please. This is the biggest problem that we have really seen in the past 30 years. Basically, it came out in Windows 95, but we got really, really acquainted with it in Windows 98 SE. Blue screens of death. That was the BSODs. Well, I've read through a lot of blue screen logs, a ton, more than I would like to admit. But these AI programs can read through blue screen logs 10,000 times faster than I can. And what we have found is the AI can remediate these blue screens before a user ever has to see it a second time. The blue screen happens, the system reboots, SupportAssist looks at the blue screen log, does its scan, and then changes the configuration that needed to be changed to prevent the blue screen from happening again. One of the most famous ones is called a 9F blue screen. That's a driver power state failure blue screen. What it means is the driver to a certain device wasn't getting power when it requested it. SupportAssist can remediate that on the back end, and it will never happen again. This saves us a ton of time for IT support professionals to do other things rather than troubleshoot blue screens. So in this example, John had a blue screen with Pro Support Plus for PCs and SupportAssist. He didn't have to raise an IT ticket to your IT team. What happened was when it rebooted, it found out what the blue screen was calling for as an error, and then it fixed it. The other thing that we're doing with SupportAssist is updating drivers and firmware to prevent these blue screens from happening, because sometimes drivers have fixes for certain types of blue screens. So all that is to say that with SupportAssist for business PCs, we've used AI to prevent errors from ever happening, or when an error does happen, remediate it before it turns into a bigger problem, either through a software update, a firmware update, or in the event that there's going to be a hardware failure, predictive analysis of that hardware failure, contacting your IT teams to remediate the error before it ever causes a down system. Next slide. The other big thing is APIs. We now have PC management APIs in a library based on all of our customers' feedback. For example, ServiceNow. I have many customers that use ServiceNow, and when talking to them about SupportAssist for business PCs, their concern was it was either going to conflict with or not work with ServiceNow. We now have APIs that work with many, many different ways of managing your environment. So if you're ever interested in it, you can reach out to your TCSM or your sales engineers or support engineers, and they can talk to you about PC management APIs. They're eligible on all Pro Support Plus systems and Pro Support Flex entitled systems. The only prerequisite is that you activate, connect, and manage successfully deploying SupportAssist through the targeted PCs. As long as it has SupportAssist on it, these APIs will work. And you can see a ton of information with these APIs, either alerts, health insights, security insights, which is the really big one. And we all have those users that have the problem that their PC goes down every week. You can see those trends with these APIs. SupportAssist for business PCs with AI analysis is going to save IT departments and companies millions of dollars and tens of thousands of work hours that were previously used to solve more complicated problems than just to reset my password or turn it off and on again. We did this specifically because customers asked for something to reduce the amount of time that they're spending to remediate issues, and we have been very successful at it. If you have any questions, reach out to your TCSM, reach out to your sales engineers. We'd be more than happy to talk to you about all the functionality and predictive, preventative AI things that we have available through this tool. I appreciate you all for giving us your time today. I hope you'll have a fantastic week. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Matt.